Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 greatest VST synths of all time. Now, keep in mind, of course, this video is purely my opinion, and I understand that everybody has their own opinions on what makes a VST great. So let's get right into the list, and we'll start with some honorable mentions. I'll have 4 honorable mentions here. Number 4 is Massive. So what can be said about Native Instruments Massive that hasn't already been said? Simply put, Massive is easy to use, it's intuitive, and it's quite fun to experiment in. However, I hate to say this because I have so many fond memories of using Massive, but I feel like Massive has been so overused that it takes away a little bit of your creative process when you try to keep using it, and you need to add quite a bit of post-processing to really make the sounds come alive and have more depth to them. All in all, it's a classic synth that's made countless hits, so it had to show up on this list. Number 3 for the honorable mentions is Nexus 2 by Refix. Much like Massive, Nexus 2 has created so many big songs in the EDM world. Its name has become synonymous with EDM. While it's hard to even consider it a true synth since it kind of operates a lot like a sampler, the stock sounds are so incredibly useful. However, the price tag with expansions is absolutely insane, and it's nowhere near worth the ticket price. And a lot of the expansions are missing a lot of diversity in tone. Honorable mention number 2 is Rapid. So one thing can be said about Rapid. It really is rapid. It's quick and easy to use. It's really low on the CPU usage. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but it just works. And it has some incredible sounds in it. However, the demo, if you're checking it out, only gets you so far because a lot of other synths on this list, they will let you demo all the sounds in it. You just might have a time limit. This one only gives you a small amount of the presets that are available to you, which is quite disheartening in the sense that you can't truly test out for yourself to see if it's worth the $210 price tag. The sounds that you can make it are quite impressive and very dynamic and full sounding. It's straight and to the point, and any novice will find it quite intuitive. And the advanced user will really appreciate its additional options and effects. Honorable mention number 1 is Avenger. It's kind of like to 2020 what Nexus 2 was for 2007. It's got some really recent sounds, which could be kind of viewed as a negative in the sense that it might sound too much like other artists' sounds, but it's quite untalked about on the other hand, so maybe people don't know that it's out there, which really makes me wonder why. It sounds incredibly rich, it's vibrant, it's really user-friendly, it's easy on the eyes. You'll find yourself looking through the presets to find how they made these sounds, and then you'll learn to, reverse engineer it and see how to make similar sounds. It's definitely not as intuitive as Serum, but the end results are almost in the same ballpark. It's great for that unique timbre that house and future bass has. It even works for drum and bass and dubstep. Now, number 10 on the list is going to be Repro-1 and Repro-5, or is it Repro-1 and Repro-5? Is it UHE? Is it UHE? A lot of questions. It's a German company, so I'm not exactly sure. But I combine these 2 separate synths into one because that's what UHE or UHE does on their website as well. So it comes for a 2-in-1 format, and I slightly think that Repro-5 has quite a few more incredible presets on the startup than Repro-1, but both of them are incredibly powerful synths that offer so much. UHE or UHE has quickly become one of my favorite developers, not to mention how fun it is to go in and color coordinate your favorite sounds into different moods. So for me, I like to have all the light, airy pads be colored light blue, while if they're rich, heavy textural sounds, I'll color them green. Whatever your mood is or what your color preference is, you can just save your favorites to that color, and whenever you're searching for the right sound, it's right there waiting for you. Which leads me to another UHE synth, that's Zebra 2. Zebra 2 is almost like an analog-style version of Serum. It allows you to make a huge sound with dozens of tweakable parameters. The XY axis for filters, oscillators, envelopes, and FX are so easy to use, and it really brings the patches some extra movement and life. You can automate everything, of course, and it's great for pads, eerie sound effects, noises, and leads. However, the learning curve in this one is a bit higher than some of the other options on the list. Next up is another UHE synth or UHE that's going to be Bazille or Bazille or Bazille. I'm not sure how to pronounce it again, but if you like analog synths that act like a Moog and creating patch with filters, oscillators, and routing wires everywhere, this is quite a treat for you. You'll feel like you're traveling to the 1970s while also creating new and exciting patches. It's really fun to mess with, and there are 4 oscillators to truly tweak your sound. The stock presets have some truly incredible patches for you to transform and make them your own. It has some incredible bass and sound effect presets straight out of the box. I highly recommend you checking out this one. Number 7 is Vital. Vital is the free Serum. It may not be as good in my opinion, but it is very close. Many up-and-coming acts are using Vital because its UI is so quick and to the point. It's easy to figure out. It's easy on the eyes. It's quickly becoming the new go-to synth for a lot of the up-and-comers as well as YouTubers. So there's tons of tutorials on how to make great sounds in it. Makes it figuring it out even easier. There are more equipped versions of Vital as well that offer a little bit more, more presets and some additional features. However, the free version already has so much to offer, so why not download it and try it for yourself? Number 6 is Anna 2. Anna 2 is loaded to the brim with professional sounding presets right out of the box. It's categorized brilliantly and very easy to find the types of vibes that you're going for. You can search through the mood that you're going to or what type of music it is. Endlessly tweakable. The UI is straightforward and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Silent. The sampler is great, very easy to use. The rating system is really easy to find the presets and patches that you've made ranked in order. The only downfall is the amount of time it takes to cycle from one patch to the next. I'm not sure why this happens because it's really not even that CPU heavy, but from going from one preset to the next takes like 3 to 4 seconds. Be a little frustrating. But that being said, it's a phenomenal synth and I highly recommend you check it out. Number 5 is Diva, another UHE synth. Diva is loaded with amazing sounds. It's very easy to design new patches from scratch. The UI could use a little bit of a facelift, but its functionality is top-notch nonetheless. The oscilloscope is a great feature. It's missing from some of their other synths, but if you're looking for an outstanding pad or a lead or something really different, ethereal type music, Diva is going to be a great one for you. If you got a really cool bass line and you want something to go in the background, I use Diva constantly. Number 4 is Pigments by Arturia. Pigments is yet another synth that seems to fly under the radar and not get as much credit as it's due. I don't understand why. Of course, it's completely loaded with amazing presets. The UI is fun to work with, and it's just easy to use. Every time I use it, I find something new that I like about it. It's a more robust version of Native Instruments' Razor, in my opinion, with a lot of the granular effects. It's great for everything from dreamscapes, synth pop, synth wave, to dubstep and drum and bass, and even film scoring. For some reason, it always puts me in this mood to create a new soundtrack for something like Blade Runner, and it's a lot of fun to look at. It's definitely an inspiring synth, and I highly recommend you get this one. Number 3 is on top of almost everybody's list, or near the top, and that's going to be Omnisphere by Spectrasonics. This is another classic synth that has been used so many times by so many huge artists across the world, and there's a reason for it. It sounds amazing. The 8 channels also help with the CPU issues where you might have because it takes a lot of CPU, but you can run 8 different channels of audio coming from that one instance of Omnisphere. And in Reaper, I use multiple versions of it and save tons of patches ready to go. So I have an Omnisphere I can load up if I have a mood for something dark. I have one if I want something more uplifting. I have one if I want something that's like dubstep or whatever. So it's a really nice package. The sound library is huge, which is great, but it does take a lot of your hard drive space, so keep that in mind. And much like Anna 2, cycling through presets does take a little bit of time because it has to load up the samples. But that being said, the sounds are so rich and customizable. It's like what Nexus 2 could have been if they put a little bit more work into it. Plus, Omnisphere's presets library is so huge and has so many amazing samples in it that I've used it for over 13 years, and I still find new things that I like about it. And it's so perfect for adding much needed textures and atmospheres to more basic sounding tracks. I use Omnisphere on nearly every song I've created. Number 2 is the top of the list for UHE. This is Hive 2. Hive 2 is the ultimate UHE synth, which is saying a lot because they could literally have their own top 10 video, and I'll probably be making one in the near future. But Hive 2 has it all. It's the perfect culmination of all things that UHE can offer. Amazingly rich presets, easy to use UI, fun to play around in and look at. Also, the color coordinating to your mood can really help you save and know which presets to go to when you're making a certain type of track. And most importantly, it sounds great. The pads are so deep and atmospheric, the leads are unique and will cut through any mix. The sound effects have so many layers to them, and this can be used with little to no post-processing. You don't really need to spend a lot of time trying to make the sounds better because they already sound so great to begin with. The user interface is so fun to work with. The oscilloscope really helps you understand how it's going to look in your mix if you're a visual type person like I am. You can do the demo, it gives you a time limit, but it gives you all the functionality, it gives you all the presets, and there are literally almost, I think, 2,000 presets that come in it. Take some time, you're going to find you have so many sounds in there that you absolutely love, and then you can reverse engineer them and come up with more sounds like it. Which, of course, is going to bring me to number 1. I'm sure you all saw this coming, that number 1 would be Serum by Xver. Serum is number 1 for so many reasons it's almost hard to list. If you produce anything that's bass heavy, Serum is an absolute must. It's the creative synth. It inspires creativity from the moment you open it. It's right to the point. There's no wasted real estate. There's no needless buttons. It's so easy to look at and it's intuitive, and you just know what's going to happen when you start tweaking things in there. The UI structure is genius. The FX tab is so fun to use and feels like you're using analog racks, much like Propellerhead's Reason. The more you get to know Serum, the more you'll love the Matrix tab and the ability to tweak your tweaks. You can really fully automate so many parameters that the ability to create something truly unique is in itself such a unique feature. Editing wavetables and importing custom wave files is so easy and intuitive, and it's super inspiring. You can create your own LFO sequencer and save the shapes so you can use them in the future. The grid is so easy to use and to make shapes in there. But most importantly, it just sounds amazing. So many artists have made countless amazingly rich sounds in this synth. There are a lot of other synths, even some on this list, that you have to add After Effects and post-processing to really develop the sound to make it unique, but not in Serum. You can use the filter. There's multiple filters that you can use in there, even some hidden ones. Like in the effects tab, you can use the EQ as its own filter and you can automate it so it has a sweeping effect to it. You can use the noise oscillator as an additional filter. And of course, you have the main filter and the effects filter. So the possibilities are absolutely endless. A lot of times when I'm creating sounds in there, I'll start with something and I'll think it sounds pretty cool, and I'll just keep spending time in the effects tab, changing things around and tweaking little things here and there, and you find that you've created something so drastically different than you thought you ever would make. The possibilities are absolutely endless. It's so much fun to use, it's so intuitive, and it just seems to make sense. I'm not even sure how they're going to up their game when they release Serum 2, whenever that is. But the second it's released, you know I'll be purchasing it. The price point is perfect. The UI is perfect. Everything about this synth is perfect. And I know you've probably seen countless videos about people talking about Serum, so I'll just end it here by saying, if you want to get into EDM music, bass-heavy music, or just create something analog style synth, you can do all of that in Serum. And what's cool about it is there's such a large community of people using it that if you ever have any problems or questions on it, you're going to get an answer. So that's it. That's my top 10, guys. I know you might not agree with everything in here. Some you might say, wow, that is so much higher ranked than in my list. But this is how things work for me and what I like to use. So I hope this video inspired you to go out and get some new synths if you have been thinking about it. Remember, almost everything on this list has a demo that you can actually get all the features in. Some of them you can't save presets. Some of them you might have a 20-minute time limit, but almost everything on here allows you to go in and really try it out before you buy it. So thanks again for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.